Welcome to my allotment. It's the beginning of October. It's a little bit dark and dreary today, and as you can see it's raining, so I've got my umbrella up. So I'm going to take you around the allotment today and show you what's going on and what I'm going to be doing. If you've not already subscribed to my channel, if you could please do so, because you'll get lots of helpful hints and tips all throughout the year from my home garden, my allotment, and also my home kitchen. So a lot of people have been talking about their composters. Now obviously you need to regularly turn these over and talking about what they can put into it. So obviously we've got 3 composting areas here where we move each area into another area to compost it down. You don't just put your weeds and any vegetables that you're not using or that have gone over in there. You also put other things in there as well, and people have been asking questions about that. So you need to put manure in there, and it doesn't need to be well rotted because you're going to be turning it and it's going to rot in there. And also you need to put carbon back in, so some kind of form of paper, cardboard. I have a helpful neighbour that I think shreds everything, and they give me bagfuls of it, so I often put some of that in there, and I also put a little bit of cardboard in. But what you want to do is you want to alternate it with you know, animal manure, green stuff from the allotment, and shredded paper. So you don't put loads all in one go, you kind of layer it to even it out a little bit. So that's a job I'm going to be doing in the near future. I'm going to be turning that over, and I'll be putting a mixture of carbon and manure in with that as well. So as we move over, you can see that the artichokes have pretty much died off now, but you can see the new sprouts already coming at the bottom there. So I need to tidy up, I need to take the dead wood off, and I also need to weed around there. So this time of year, things do seem a little bit dreary, a little bit overgrown, a little bit untidy. Do you know what? Unless you haven't got a job and you spend your life up the allotment, it's a little bit like that at the moment, but don't be disheartened. Little and often is what I always advocate. So every time you come up, if you manage to tidy a little bit, then you're in a good place rather than just leaving it all the time. But we're all in the same place, so don't let it get to you. I'm in that place as well. If you look at my rhubarb, as you can see, it's all flopped back, so that's how it'll be left for the winter. But I've got a few weeds around here, you know, it's all part and parcel of it. This time of year I often put some manure over it, and often it isn't that rotted, but again it will rot down, and something like rhubarb can take it. I think when we had the snow, the last lot of snow, I actually covered it with manure just before the snow came, and actually I probably had my best rhubarb yet. So as we move down, we've done a little bit of tidying up in the fruit cage, but if I'm honest, I've not cut all the canes out that I need to cut out, so I will be doing a bit more work there. My blackberries have almost finished. There are a few there which I might be able to pick off, but not that much. They really are the tail end now. I don't know if you remember me telling you about the sweet corn and that it was being eaten by some kind of wild creature. No one could quite decide. Well, it turns out that someone's been taking the corn into the middle of my fruit cage. It's obviously quite a nice area to munch through it. And now I know it's not my corn because mine didn't get attacked because I used the chili pepper and I put a guard around it. But obviously some creature has obviously decided to move it somewhere else. Now I actually think there's every chance that maybe one creature starts eating it and another one finishes it off. So there's every chance that you've got like a wild animal party going on where sweet corn's concerned, because it is really rather tasty. Who can blame them? As we move down, we've got the cabbages. I've still got a few cabbages here. Now I really do need to get these up because this is where my garden is going to go. Because of my crop rotation system, the alliums are going to go in this area, so I need to get these up. So I need to dig these up in the next week or two. And if you haven't planted your garlic already, now's a really good time to start sourcing it and getting it in this month. I'd really advocate October. I've tried other months and October has been the best month for me. I've still got loads of beautiful kale under there. Now, I haven't lifted it all up properly for a little while, so that's another job I'm going to be doing at some point. I'll probably take the whole lot off and I'll have a good tidy up underneath. Some people have been saying, can I leave my brassicas uncovered? Do you know what? I still wouldn't. You know, I'd still keep them covered for a little bit longer, because even if the white cabbage butterfly aren't there, there's still a chance that the birds will munch them within an inch of their life. But it's up to you. You know, I'm going to leave mine on for a little bit longer because it just keeps them protected. Why would you not? It's not causing them any harm. So as we move down, my chard's still looking absolutely fantastic, so I can easily be picking more of that. So I've got some recipes this week which I'm going to be using my chard in. So really good winter thing to have in. I put my onions in recently, which you'll probably see that I've got a video on that. They've not been pulled out yet, I don't think. I had a quick look up here when I came up to see whether the birds had a go at them, but they all look fine. I generally find that the birds don't have a go at them. That's not to say they won't when they start to shoot. So if you want to cover them, it's up to you. I personally don't. Sometimes I think the birds get blamed for what is actually the plant naturally growing. So when the onion starts to grow and it starts to root, it does push it out of the soil just a little bit. So sometimes you can think the bird's done it when actually it's just the root pushing itself up. Unless, of course, the onion's over the other side, and then you know it's probably a bird that's done it. So I've still got loads of lovely beetroot there, which I can be pulling, and there's no rush to pull that. I see some people, again, pulling all their beetroot up now. Unless you're going to pickle it, I'd rather just leave it in. You get the odd one that's going to bolt, but not that many. So I've got my little radishes in there, which are coming along, which I sowed, I believe, in August. I don't think they're quite ready, but hopefully not too much longer. So most of my lettuces have actually gone over now, so there might be a few that don't look too bad, and I might pull a few leaves off, but I think they've done all that they can do, otherwise they'll start to taste bitter, and that won't be very nice. So my leeks are really doing well. I've dug a few and I've actually started eating them, and you can do the same. So what I do is I dig the biggest ones first and let the smaller ones fill out. So I've also got some of the little parsnips scattered in between, and I haven't dug any of those recently, but I might start to take a look. They always say it's best to dig after the first frost, but you know what, if you really want a parsnip, just dig it whenever. If you've got plenty of them, you're going to be eating them for quite a while. So I've dug most of this area up, and I'm going to be covering this soon. I've just got a tiny little patch which I don't seem to have quite got to. A lot of people talk about whether to cover the allotment or not, because it's better to let the natural elements break everything down. You know, there is an argument for that, and for some people that's right, but for me personally, if I've got a large area that's uncovered, I will cover it. And the reason I'll cover it is because in the spring there's so much to do. There really is. And if you leave it uncovered, the weeds start to grow incredibly quickly, and you end up having a hard job to do. The other good thing about covering it is it keeps it moist underneath. Now, I always use a weed membrane, a really strong one, so it lets the water in, and it also keeps the ground a bit more moist underneath, because obviously, like today, it would let the rain in and it would keep it moist underneath. So when you do then go to dig it, it's a lot easier. Now, you can either dig it first and cover it, which personally is the best thing if you can do it. But if you're running out of time and you can't get it dug, you're far better off covering it, because obviously it will suppress the weeds for a little bit. You can always lift a corner up at a time and dig a little bit and lay it back down again, so you can get that weeding done when you've got more time. At the moment, I haven't got a lot of space because I've still got quite a lot in. But if you have got a lot of space, personally, I think weed membrane is brilliant. You use the same pieces every year, you put it down and you lift it up in the spring, but you only lift it up when you're getting ready to dig and plant. Don't go lifting it up early, otherwise the same thing will happen, the weeds will grow. As we move down, we've got the Cape gooseberries. Now, I honestly don't know whether I'm going to get anything out of these. I think they went in a little bit too late. They're still quite tiny, which is a real shame. But, you know, not everything I grow is a success. I think these were given to me and maybe the plants weren't far enough on. But you never know. Nothing else is there. So do you know what? I'm going to leave them there and see what happens. So, but I think it's unlikely I'm going to get anything. As we move over, the dahlias are starting to finish off. As you can see, a few of those have started to die off, because obviously the frost will get these. And at some point, I will lift these up and store them somewhere so the frost doesn't destroy them, because I will dig them all up and then I'll plant them back in next year. Maybe the same place, maybe somewhere different. Got some little spring onions coming on here, which look really lovely. So hopefully I'll have some of those through the winter. A little bit of spinach over there and a little bit of beetroot that I put in, and also I put some turnips in as well and a few carrots. So we'll see how they do over the next month or so. I've got my Savoy cabbages underneath here, so I do need to lift that up and just check everything's weed free underneath and nothing's attacking it. I've still got a few carrots left over there, which I've not got too many left now, but I'm gradually getting through those, so I'll probably dig some of those soon. Again, some more beetroots, so plenty of beetroots for me. Parsnips, and I've also got some bulb fennel there, which hasn't swelled out quite enough yet, but I'm hoping that with all this wet weather we've had recently, that it will start to swell out and I can start to eat them. But do you know what? They don't have to be as big as the ones that you have in the shops. You know, you can pick them a little bit smaller if you want to. So they're not really that frost hardy, but I did find the ones that I had last year did actually stand a little bit of frost, so I'll just pick them as I need them. It's another vegetable, it doesn't have to look that glamorous as long as it tastes good. As we move up to the squashes and courgettes, so as you can see, most of the plants are all starting to die back, and that's perfectly normal. I took some of the squashes and pumpkins home, and I will be taking more home in the next few weeks. But like I said, I'm waiting for the stems to die off as much as possible, because then I know they'll store better. So I'm still going to leave mine a few more weeks unless I think we're going to get a harsh frost. And I don't know if you remember what I said about the courgettes. I hear some people lifting the courgettes already, but I've still got some more coming. I mean, not many, and if I'm honest with you, it's probably my last couple. But I've got a really nice one here, which I'm going to be taking off in the next couple of days. As you can see, there's some other little ones on there. And I've got another courgette over the other side. Now, if I'd have pulled this up, I wouldn't have had those, and nothing else is in the ground. So personally, unless you're completely sick of them, I'm not even having to water them at the moment. They're just growing. So I'm quite happy to keep taking the courgettes for as long as they last. But I'm under no illusion that maybe next week that all of those plants could have flopped down and I won't be doing any more. But at least I've made the most of what I've got rather than just getting rid of it when it's not entirely finished. So as we move up, obviously we've got the blackcurrant bushes, which obviously aren't doing anything at the moment. And I've got my autumn fruiting raspberries, which I've still got a few of those, so I need to go through and pick some of those. So I probably should have got them off before it rained, but hey ho, like I say, they're never quite as big and firm as the summer fruiting ones, but they still taste perfectly good with your porridge in the morning or with a pudding or something like that. And as you can see here, I mean, gosh, I've got plenty that I need to tidy up. So, you know, it happens to everybody. So I'm going to come up here with some shears, with my strimmer, some very thick gloves and some very thick trousers, and I'm going to be tidying up as much as I possibly can to get this ready for next year. Now, I hope you've enjoyed looking around my allotment today, and any comments, as ever, please put them in there and we'll do our best to answer them.